Well, good Friday morning. Hope everybody is doing all right. And if you're in the path of the snow slash sleet slash ice storm, hope you are preparing and are going to be safe. So today we are at the final game for June the 9th. It is game number 390 overall. We're at the Kingdome in Seattle, which is very hitter friendly for home runs, 1-17. Singles only 1-5, so not so much there. Texas won the real game 3-0. As Mike Morgan, the starter for Seattle, did pitch a complete game in the loss. Texas used a couple of relievers to help Jose Guzman, but Morgan did pitch a complete game, giving up 11 hits and 3 runs. So we got Jose Guzman against Mike Morgan. Morgan is coming to this replay 3-6. Guzman 1-4, so not the elitist of the elite. They're not good at holding runners on either. Morgan is a plus. Actually, Morgan's a 0, but Bradley's a +2, so it gives him a +2. Guzman is even worse. Guzman is a +3, but then you got the +3 from Mike Stanley, makes him a +6, which of course +5 the most you can have. On havoc rolls, Texas will be in trouble because if you're checking for balk, Guzman's an 18 balk. If you're checking for pass ball, Stanley's a 17 pass ball. So they're kind of betwixt and between on that one. All right, so Mike Morgan, let's look at his real numbers on the actual season. He was 12-17 with a 465 earned run average. Hey, G-Puck, yeah, the snow is coming. We're actually going to a motel tomorrow afternoon, late tomorrow afternoon, and because ice is coming in Sunday morning and we expect to lose power. But if we wait till Sunday, we'll be stuck in the house and won't be able to get out. So we are heading to metaphorically higher ground. And we're going to come back and check on the house on Monday afternoon, see if the power did in fact go out or whether it stayed on. And we'll be dripping our faucets and everything, trying to keep the water pipes from freezing. Because Monday night it's supposed to get down to about 5 or 6 degrees. So that's going to be the problem right there. If we don't have heat and you get 5 or 6 degree weather, I'm not even sure dripping the pipes are going to help. But we'll do the best we can with what we have. Right now, Mike Morgan, like I said, on the real season, he was 12-17, 465 ERA. On the replays, 3-6 with an ERA of 3.93. So he's done better for himself on the replay. Hasn't got a lot of run support. That's why he's 3-6. So for the Rangers, it'll be Jerry Brown, the governor, leading things off. I would take the foot of snow over what we're getting. We're supposed to get 4 inches of snow plus, all day long of sleet, freezing rain, which they say is going to be about a half inch of ice, and that's enough to snap tree limbs and take down power lines and all that stuff. And we live in the country, so once we lose power, it's not like it's going to get replaced in about 4 or 5 hours. We're talking maybe 3 or 4 days before they get the power back on. So, and with the temperatures, once we leave today, once Saturday gets here, the temperature is never going to get above freezing for the next 7 days, and most of the evenings are going to be single digits. So it's just an Arctic blast that we're just going to have to deal with. All right, so Jerry Brown will lead things off, hitting 261, a homer and 10 driven in. He had 271 real world, and of course, before the first pitch, we have the ceremonial first sip, which is in play right now. So here's Jerry Brown, 110, and that's going to be a single. Okay, I think I'm back. I'm not sure what happened there. Everything just kind of froze up on me, so I had to reboot the computer, start everything over. Um, but anytime that happens, know that I'm in the background working to try to get it corrected. So we'll be back on in a matter of minutes. Hopefully, didn't take too long to get back on. So I do need to bring the Strat computer back up because that had to close down as well. And we'll get this game rolling here. Fortunately, I assume, I don't know this for sure, but I assume that you guys saw the last thing that would happen, which was the caught stealing by Jerry Brown. He was trying to get the steal and he got caught on a roll of 16. He had a 1 to 15 chance, and we rolled a 16. So hopefully you saw that. If you didn't, that's exactly what happened, and that's all that's happened. Nothing's happened since then. That's when the circle in the sand came up, and that's when I had to stop and reboot. So hopefully we are back in business now to stay. So all you got to do to reboot everything is put the single in for Jerry Brown and then do the caught stealing. And it looks like it's moving smoothly now, at least in so many ways. So it looks like it's back where it needs to be. All right, so Jerry Brown got caught stealing, and that's all there is. That's the only thing that's happened in this game. So nothing's been missed up to that point. And now we're looking at Scott Fletcher's shortstop. Fletcher hitting 297 on the replay. A homer and 30 driven in. He hit 287 in the real world, so he's not too far off his number. It's a 2-7, and that's a 1 to 17 single, so that's a base hit for Fletcher. Now, does he try to get the lead? I think they're going to learn their lesson and hold him there. So here's Ruben Sierra. He will be held on, but he won't try to steal or get a jump. So they will go to Ruben Sierra, right fielder. Sierra on the replay hitting 287, 17 homers, 40 driven in. He hit 2 out. And here comes Mr. Pete Incaviglia. Incaviglia on the replay hitting 239, 11 homer, 32 driven in. He actually hit 271 real world. So he's been underperforming a bit. 6-6 on Morgan. He pops him up. And making the play there is the third baseman, Presley. One away, so that's a big out to get there, to get the out with no runner advancement. Leaves the runners at first and second. And here is Pete O'Brien, the first baseman. Pete O'Brien. O'Brien on the replay hitting 293, 9 homers, 28 driven in. He hit 286 in the real season. 1-8 for O'Brien, and that is a Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play with the ground ball second base A. That is a 4. Actually, there were already 2 outs, so you don't need the double play. Actually, I take it back. There were 2 outs already, so it's not going to be a double play. It's just going to be a 4-3 ground out. So Giovanni's Tailor Shop will have to wait another time to get their plug, although they kind of got a plug there. But innings over. Morgan gave up 3 hits, but managed to get out of it with no runs. Go to the bottom of the first. It is Texas nothing, Seattle coming to bat. And Jose Guzman is going to be the pitcher for Texas. The real season, he was 14-14 with a 4.67 ERA. On the replay, he's 1-4 with an ERA of 8.02. So he has been struggling to say the least. And he'll be facing John Moses, the center fielder. Moses hitting 247 on the replay, 3 homers, 24 driven in. He hit 246 real world. It's a 6-5, and that's going to be a ground ball to second. 1 away. This will be the final live broadcast probably for several days because, like I said, probably won't have power. So obviously, if I'm in a motel or whatever, I don't have my equipment there to do anything. So that's why I am going to record a couple of things today for upload later. So maybe I can piecemeal stuff like the one of the Demolition League games and a Steve Carlton 72 payoff pitch. I'll record those this afternoon and put them out over the weekend and into next week. All right, here's Phil Bradley. Bradley hitting 206, 6 homers, 20 driven in. He hit 297 real world, so he's definitely underperformed. 6-8, and that's going to be a 1-8 single. That's a 5, so Phil Bradley gets the base hit. See if he's looking to get a lead. He certainly is. Needs a 2 through 5 to obtain a good lead. Hello, world's worst. Does not get the lead. And that'll bring up Scott Bradley. Bradley hitting 261 on the replay. No homers, 18 driven in. He hit 278 real world. 6-7, and that's a strikeout for Guzman. That's out number 2. It's going to be all up to Ken Phelps, designated hitter. Phelps on the replay is hitting 235, 10 homers, 29 driven in. He at 259 real world. .611, and that is a ground ball first base ex Pete O'Brien. They were holding Bradley on, so O'Brien is now a 3E12 instead of a 2E12 because he was holding the runner. So 3E12 for O'Brien. 3 and the 8 may or may not make a difference. We shall see. 3 and an 8 is going to make a difference because that pound sign, if he's holding the runner on, that's a single 2 stars. So that is going to be a single 2 stars. That's a 9. And let's see, O'Brien is a 12. And there's also going to be an error involved. O'Brien is an E12. Where'd he go? There he is. O'Brien, E12. E12 first baseman, and a 9 is an error, and that is a 9. So it's a single 2 stars plus an error, and that will score the run. So single plus the E3, and Bradley will come all the way around to score. And Seattle grabs a 1-0 lead just like that. Wow. So the error on O'Brien. And it is a 1-0. Actually, yeah, 1-0 ball game for Texas. All right, so Phelps at second base with 2 outs. Clutch situation. Now for Jim Presley, the Hound Dog. Hound Dog on the replay is hitting 216, 12 homers, 40 driven in at 247 real world. On the clutch factor, he loses hits on 2-3, and that's it, just 2-3. Everything else he is neutral. Phelps very slow at second base, so they're going to need something big to get him home. 2-3, and that's going to be a single, but it's an anti-clutch. That is his only anti-clutch roll, and he found it. What are the odds of that? What is that? 36, 1 in 36 chance, and he found it. Unbelievable. So that turns into a pop out to short. Hound Dog fails in the clutch. I think the computer calls it choking in the clutch. And that's going to end the inning. So Guzman gets out of it relatively easily by getting that out. So that makes this run unearned. Unearned run, but it counts just the same. Hello, Dr. D. Good to see you. All right. Larry Parrish going to lead off, designated hitter. He's hitting 212 on the replay, 8 homers, 26 driven in. He at 268 real world, another underperformer. 6-8, and that's going to be a single to center field. Lead off single by Mr. Parrish. 1 away for Oddibe McDowell, center fielder. He's hitting 205 on the replay, 3 homers, 13 driven in. He at 241 real world. It's a 1-6, and that's going to be a strikeout. McDowell strikes out. First strikeout. Very first strikeout right there for Mr. Morgan. Yep, it's calm before the storm. Absolutely. It's going to be like upper 40s today, I think. So enjoy it while we can. After today, it doesn't get above freezing for another 8 days, with many days in the single digits at night. So if we lose power, we're in deep doo-doo. Here's Mike Stanley. Stanley is hitting 286 on the replay, just 14 at bats, 2 out of 14. But those 2 hits are a triple and a home run with 3 runs batted in, so he's made the most of it. 3-5, and that's going to be a single to right field. Parrish doesn't run well, and Kingery's got a -2 arm, so they will hold him at second base. First and second, 1 out for the number 9 hitter, Steve Buechele. That's a 1. So Mike Morgan's wild pitch rating is an 11. That's an 18, so there's no wild pitch there. 3-5, and that is a, there we go. Now we get the Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play on that 3-5. Ground ball to short, that will do it. 6-4-3. Giovanni's Tailor Shop sponsoring the tailor-made double play of the game. Couldn't have come at a better time for Mike Morgan. If you're in the Lemoyne, Pennsylvania area, be sure to check out Giovanni's Tailor Shop. Tell them Demo sent you. You might get a discount. But I'm not promising anything because they're the unofficial sponsor. All right, so we go to the bottom of the second. Still 1-0 Texas, and Alvin Davis will lead off for the Mariners. Davis hitting .292 on the replay, 11 homers, 31 driven in. He hit .295 real world. It's a 3-7, and that's a base on balls. First walk issued by Guzman. Davis, no threat to run. Will not be held. And then Mike Kingery steps to the plate. Kingery, right fielder. And on the replay, he's hitting .239, 4 homers, 14 driven in, .280 he hit in real world. Nothing on the havoc. Guzman to Kingery. 3-5, and that's a fly to center field. That'll be hauled in out there by McDowell. 1 down for Domingo Ramos. He's been playing as shortstop with the injury to Ray Quinones. Ramos on the replay in just 39 at-bats is hitting .282, a homer and 5 driven in. He hit .311 real world. 5-9, and that is an in-home run chance, 1-3. That's an 11, so it'll be a double. The double is assumed to go to center field. Davis doesn't run all that well. McDowell is a -1 arm, so I think they're going to hold him at third base. So second and third, 1 out. That's going to bring the infield in now for Harold Reynolds, second baseman, but the infield has come in. Reynolds hitting .291 on the replay, no homers, 11 driven in. He hit .275 during the actual season. Infield is in with 1 out. 3-8, and that's a ground ball shortstop A, so that'll hold everybody right where they are. Reynolds can't get the job done, so it's going to be up to John Moses. Moses, his first time up, grounded to second base. He's the clutch situation, and he will lose a hit on 3-9 in the clutch. John Moses. 2-5, and he will fly to right field, and that will end the inning. So Guzman pitches out of it. We go to the third, still 1-0 Seattle. And that'll bring up the top of the order for Texas, Jerry Brown, the governor. He singled and got caught stealing right before we had the circles in the sand and had to reboot. 1-6 is a ground ball to short. Easy play for Ramos, 1 away. 1 down, and that's going to take us to Scott Fletcher. Singled his first time up, 2-5, and this time he's going to do more than that. Perhaps 1-5 is a triple, and that's a 2. A triple for Scott Fletcher. And on the real season, he had 4 triples. On the replay, this is his first triple. So he gets his first triple of the replay. He had 4 real world. And now that brings up Ruben Sierra with 1 out and a runner at third. And Seattle's going to play the infield in. Try to choke off a run. 3-10. Ballpark blast is probably not going to matter. 1-17, that's gone. So it didn't matter where they were playing. Ruben Sierra goes deep. A triple and now a home run. 2-run shot, and Texas takes the lead 2-1. Look at it again. 3-10 is a ballpark blast, and 1-17 at the Dome. That's a 6 for Sierra. That is home run number 18 on the replay. In at bat number 211, so roughly 1/3 of his at bats, and he's got almost half of his home runs because he had 30 for the real season. 18th home run on the replay. RBIs 41 and 42, and Texas takes that lead 2-1. That'll bring up Pete Incaviglia. 2-6 for Incaviglia, struck him out. Second strikeout for Morgan. And that will send up Pete O'Brien. 3-7, and he's going to fly to center, and that's going to end the inning. But the 2-run home run off the bat of Ruben Sierra has given the Rangers a 2-1 lead going to the bottom of the third. But with Jose Guzman on the mound, no lead is safe. That is for certain. So leading off for the Mariners will be Phil Bradley. He singled and scored first time up. 1-12, and that's a fly to center. 1 away. That'll bring up the other Bradley, Scott Bradley. Scott Bradley struck out his first opportunity. 4-8, and that's another strikeout. So he's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. And that'll send up Big Ken Phelps. He had the single, but it was not an RBI because the E3 allowed the run to score. 2-9, and that's going to be a base on balls. And that'll be the second walk issued by Guzman to go with his 2 strikeouts. So Guzman can't quite get a 1-2-3 inning. He did walk Phelps, but Phelps will not be held. Obviously not a good runner. Here's Presley. 1-6, and he struck him out. Third strikeout of the game for Guzman. And at the end of 3 complete, it's Texas 2 and Seattle 1. Remember, Texas won the real game 3-0. But I am expecting higher run totals, just given who's pitching. All right, here's Mike Morgan. He'll be facing DH Larry Parrish, followed by McDowell and Stanley. 3-8 for Parrish, and that's another walk. And that's actually the first walk issued by Morgan. Parrish will not be held, and that'll bring up Oddibe McDowell, who struck out his first chance. Nothing on the havoc. 3-5, and that's another walk. So back-to-back walks by Morgan all of a sudden. First 2 walks of the game, and they're back-to-back. Here's Mike Stanley, the catcher. He singled his first time up. 1-8, and that's a 1-7 home run, and that's a 3. It's gone. Mike Stanley just crushed that one. Look at the split again. 1-8 is a 1-7 home run, and that's a 3. So Mike Stanley coming through with the long ball again. This one's a 3-run shot, and those 2 walks right before that were really the killer. Home run for Stanley, his second of the replay. He had 6 real world, but that's his second of the replay. And now the Rangers lead it 5-1, and Mike Morgan doesn't know what to do with himself. He definitely want to have a complete game today, no question about it. Here's Steve Buechele. 5-11, and that's a ballpark single check. Not quite as daunting, but the low die is a 3, so that's a base hit. So Seattle may be going to that bullpen early. They didn't go to the bullpen at all in the real game, but they're going to go there now very shortly. Here's Jerry Brown. Still nobody out, by the way. Brown, 6'3", against the lefty, is a ground ball pitcher X. Mike Morgan's an E14. Computer says he's a 2 E14. So a 2 E14. And we'll check his information here. 216 might be a G1. And it is. So it's possible double play. That's an 11. And he's an E14. So as a pitcher in E14, there's no 11. So that will be a double play. It's going to go 1-6-3 for the double play. That will certainly help his cause, but it might be too little too late. Two down, base is clear, but 3 runs are already in. And here's Scott Fletcher. 5-1 Texas. 6-8, and that's another single. So Fletcher is 3 for 3, 2 singles and a triple. I don't know if he is. No, he's not. He's not going to steal or take a chance. They're going to let Sierra hit. Don't want to take the bat out of his hand. He homered his last time up. 6-11 switch hitter. Ground ball first base X. They are holding him on. So the first baseman Davis moves to a 5-E9. It's going to be tough for him to get to this ball. 5 and a 12. Not sure he can get to it or not. We'll find out. A 5 and a 12 is going to be a base hit because you got that pound sign there. And that's what happens when you hold the runner. You get the pound sign. That's a single, 2 stars. That's a 13, and Davis is a 9. There's a 14, but no 13. So it's a base hit, 2 stars, which will keep the inning going. And a clutch situation now for Pete Incaviglia, who's 0 for 2, including one of his many strikeouts. 4-2, and it's a ground ball back to the mound and finally get out of it. 3 runs on the 3-run homer from Mike Stanley. And we go to the bottom of the 4th. It is 5-1 Texas. But is that enough of a lead for Jose Guzman? Because he is apt to give up quite a bit. We shall see. Leading off is Alvin Davis. 3-10 for Davis, and that's a split chance. 1-5 is a single. That is a 5. So a base hit for Alvin Davis. He is aboard. And that brings up Kingery. Davis not going to be held. Kingery, the batter. 3-4, and that's a line out to first base. That's going to be snagged by O'Brien. 1 away for Domingo Ramos. Ramos doubled his first chance. 6-7, and this is a ground ball shortstop X. That'll be Fletcher. He's a 3E26. 3-9 is going to be interesting. 3-9 is a G3. Just missed the pound, but he wasn't holding the runner on anyway. But it's a G3, so he'll get to it. That's a 9, and he is an E26. There is no 9 there, so he gets to it, but his only play is to first base. So going to second is Alvin Davis with 2 outs. And now it's going to take a clutch hit from Harold Reynolds to get the run home. Reynolds grounded to short his first trip. 2-6, and that's a pop out to short, so he fails in that opportunity. And we go to the top of the 5th. It's still 5-1 Texas. And again, this is the final day of the June 9th replay. Whenever we get back live again, whenever we have power back after the storm and everything's kind of pseudo back to normal, then we'll look at playing some games next week. But right now, this is the last live one for a while. All right, here's Pete O'Brien. I'll be doing some recordings, though. Here's Pete O'Brien. 3-6, and that's going to be a base on balls for O'Brien. So I've got some time today before we get everything loaded up tomorrow. Got some time today to record a couple of games. Here's Larry Parrish. 6-6, and that's a pop out to third, 1 away. To be McDowell, the batter. That's a 3-8, and that's a 1-7 single, but that's an 8. He lines it to second. That's out number 2. For Mike Stanley, who's done everything. He had that single in the first and a 3-run homer last inning. Stanley now hitting .375 in 16 That's with a triple and 2 home runs and 6 runs batted in. So he's done damage. 2-9, but here he would have gotten a hit had the runner been in scoring position. But with the runner just at first, that ground ball to short stays a ground ball to short, and that will end the inning. So could have had a clutch hit had somebody been on second base, but they weren't. Mike Morgan survives another inning. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Both these pitchers have fatigue of 7. So we'll see how long. Well, Guzman can go as long as he's effective. I'm not sure about Morgan because he may run into trouble because he's already given up 5 runs. But we'll see. Here's John Moses. He's 0 for 2. 3-7, and now he's 0 for 3 with a strikeout. And that is strikeout number 4 for Guzman. Guzman pitching his best game of the season to this date. Here's Phil Bradley. Phil Bradley. 5-10. And that's an in-home run straight up off of Guzman's card, but he has weak power against right-handed pitching. So only a single for Bradley. So he couldn't get the home run, but he gets the single and down 5-1. They don't care. It's a good chance to get a free base here. 2 through 5 to get the lead. Does not get the lead, so he'll hold. And here's Scott Bradley. That's a 6-8, and that's a 1 for a single. Anything else, he lines to second base. That is out number 2. 2 down. And we'll send this to Ken Phelps. Phelps has singled and walked. That's a 1, so Guzman's wild pitch rating is a 6. No wild pitch. Here's the pitch to Phelps. 6-4, and that's a walk. Second walk by Phelps, and that's the 3rd walk overall by Guzman. He's going to put runners at first and second with 2 outs, and now the Hound Dog Jim Presley, 1 long ball, and they're right back in this game. Six-9, that's a strikeout, though. Big strikeout for Guzman, and that ends the inning. So we played 5 in Seattle with the Texas Rangers seemingly comfortably in front 5-1. I will be doing a 7th inning stretch because my coffee is pretty much almost empty and definitely lukewarm. So we're going to need to refresh that before the rest of the game. Here's Mike Morgan facing Buechele. 6-7, and that is a pop out to second. There's a dot there, but he's not tired yet. So the pop out to second is good. 1 away for Jerry Brown. 3-7, and he's going to strike out. For Morgan, that is only strikeout number 3. But they're 2 up and 2 down now. For the hot-hitting Scott Fletcher, he is 3 for 3, 2 singles and a triple. 6-10, and that's a ballpark single check. 1-5, that's an 8, so we'll keep the original fly to right. And that will end the inning. So Morgan stabilizing a bit, saving the Mariners from having to pen too early. To the bottom of the 6th, still 5-1. Guzman. In the real game for Texas, they used Paul Kilgus and Dale Mahorsic. Those are on the bullpen. They also have Jeff Russell and Mitch Williams, but they used Kilgus and Mahorsic because they were behind. But if they're in the lead, obviously we're going to go more to the other guys. But we'll see how it plays out. Here's Alvin Davis. Seattle, like I said, Mike Morgan pitched a complete game in the real game. Here's Davis, 1-6, and that's a walk. And that is walk number 4 issued by Guzman. And that brings up Kingery. .610, and that is a catcher X. And that's Mr. Stanley. He's not very good. 4E6. 4-12 for a catcher. 4 and a 12 under the catcher category. Whoops, catchers down here. 4 and a 12 is a P/F, and that is a 7, and he is an E6. There is no 7 there. So P/F, we're looking at the wild pitch rating of the pitcher to see if it's going to be a pass ball or not. His wild pitch rating is a 6. It is going to be a pass ball. So pass ball on Mr. Stanley. That'll move the runner to second base. Take away the double play. And here is Kingery again. 210, and that's a home run chance. 1-11. That's a 5. It's gone. Mike Kingery, not known for his home run power per se. He hit 9 home runs in 354 at bats, but this is home run number 5 on the replay in his 137th at bat. So he's got the long ball going too. I've noticed in this replay, home runs are up everywhere for almost everybody. Not everybody, but a lot of people. So it's a 2-run home run. The pass ball didn't matter now. It's a 2-run home run for Mike Kingery. As we look at it again, 210 was the home run, 1-11, and we got a 5. So 2-run home run cuts the lead to 5-3. Seattle right back in this game. And it's getting Bobby Valentine worried about Guzman now with nobody out. Here's Ramos, 1-7, and that's a solid single for Ramos. So the Texas bullpen might start to stir a bit. Here's Harold Reynolds. Might see Jeff Russell very shortly. Ramos will not try for any kind of lead or anything. Here's Reynolds. 3-4 for Reynolds. He's going to fly it to right field for out number 1. 1 down, and that sends up John Moses. Moses is 0 for 3. 0 for 3. 6-6, switch hitter batting left, and that's a fly to center. 2 down. And it's going to be up to Phil Bradley. He is 2 for 3 in this game. See if he can keep it up. Get Seattle even closer. 6-7, and it's ground ball shortstop X. We are looking at Fletcher. He's a 3E26. 3-2. That's going to get through for a base hit. 3-2 is an SI2, and that is a 13, and he is an E26. E26, there's a 12 there, but no 13, so it will just be a single. And let's see, the 2 and the 3 is a two base single. So going to third base is Ramos. That'll put runners at the corners with 2 outs. Tying runs are on base. Bradley could try to steal, but this is not the time to try it, I don't think. He's going to hold fast. And here is Scott Bradley. Clutch situation for Bradley. Bradley in the clutch, though, loses a hit on 1-9. That seems to be the only place. 5-8, and that's going to be a solid single to center field. That'll get a run across as Ramos will score from third. Bradley was being held, makes him a 15. 2 outs makes him a 17. Single is assumed to go to, well, it doesn't even assume, it does go to center. McDowell's a -1 arm. So let's look at it again. 16, being held to 15, 2 outs to 17, -1's a 16. 1-16, they can send him to third base. They're going to try it. They're going to send him to third base. And he's in there. Bradley, because he only runs at a 10, could not take the extra base, but Bradley does. RBI single from Scott Bradley, and all of a sudden, Mariners 1 run away from being right in this ball game. Well, they are in the ball game. It's 5-4. That brings up Ken Phelps. Clutch situation for Phelps. Texas bullpen getting near the ready. On Phelps' clutch, 310 is his bugaboo. He's got to watch out for the 310. 1-9, though, is going to be a ground ball to second, and that will end the inning. The 3 runs come in for Seattle, and all of a sudden, after 6 complete, it's 5-4 Texas. as the Mariners have closed the gap. And this will be the fatigue inning for both pitchers coming up. So we'll keep an eye on that. Bullpen activity for both teams. Look at Seattle's bullpen. They didn't use anybody. It was a complete game from Morgan his last time up. So Bill Wilkinson is loosening in the bullpen, that left-hander. He is loosening in the Seattle bullpen in case he's needed. All right. Here is Ruben Sierra. Sierra on the game is 3 for 3 with a home run. 5-7, switch hitter batting left. That's a ground ball, second base X. That's Harold Reynolds. He's a 2E21. 218, he gets to it. E21 and a 7 at second base. There's a 4, 13, 17, no 7. So a good play for Harold Reynolds as he retires Sierra. Brings up Incavilla. He's 0 for 3. 2-4, make him 0 for 4. That's a fly to center. 2 up, 2 down. Morgan has recovered since the early troubles. And that brings up Pete O'Brien. O'Brien 0 for 2 with a walk. 2-10, and that is a ballpark blast for Pete O'Brien. 1-17, that's a 15. It's gone. Pete O'Brien. Solo shot. Makes it now 6-4. Look at it again. 2-10 is a ballpark blast. 1-17 at the Kingdom, and that's a 15. For O'Brien, that is his 10th home run of the replay. RBI number 29. He had 23 home runs real world. It is now 6-4. And Morgan, that's going to try to get Morgan through the inning. But he won't last much longer after that. Here's Parrish. 6-3, ground ball pitcher X. E14 for Morgan. He's a 2E14. 2-2, that's trouble. 2-2, it's going to be a base hit. That's an 8, and he is an E14. E14, there is a 7 there, but no 8, but a 2-2 is a single 1 star. So Parrish will reach, and that's going to be it for Morgan. They're going to pull him. They will go to Wilkinson, a lefty, against the lefty McDowell coming up. So Morgan's going to make it 6 2/3, but he got knocked around quite a bit. We'll get his totals after the end of the half inning and go to the computer. Bill Wilkinson, the lefty, will be coming on for Seattle. He is a hold rating of -1, so that makes him a +1. So we'll get the numbers on Wilkinson. Real world, he was 3-4 with a 3.66 ERA. Let's see what he's done on the replay as Morgan is out of there. Wilkinson in the real world again was 3-4 with a 3.66 ERA and 10 saves. On the replay, he's 1-1 with a 4.22 ERA and 2 saves. So Bill Wilkinson trying to get out of this inning. You're facing O-B McDowell, a lefty-on-lefty matchup. Parrish at first, of course, not being held. That's a 4-6, and that's a strikeout for Wilkinson to get out of the mess. But the home run off the bat of Pete O'Brien sends the Rangers into the 7th inning stretch with a 6-4 lead. And they'll start the inning with Guzman, but he's on a short leash. He's going to be facing Presley, Davis, and Kingery due up for the Mariners. But it's 7th inning stretch time, and I definitely need to heat my coffee, no question about it. So last time I tried to do the 7th inning stretch, it did not let me do my phone screwed up and didn't let me take me out to the ball game. I'm going to try it this time and see if it'll work this time. Can't guarantee anything, though. All we can do is give it a go and see if we can get it to work. So it's not dead silence while I'm getting coffee. Here we go. We'll see if we can get this to work. Looks like we can. All right. So I'm going to go get my coffee. It's the 7th inning stretch time for Texas 6 and Seattle 4. I'll be right back. All right, back and coffee secured. Coffee is nice and hot and ready to go. So let's get this ball rolling again. Guzman will be facing Presley to start things off. Presley is 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. It's a 4-9, and that's going to be a ballpark blast. Presley has normal power, 1-17, and that's gone. So the Hound Dog comes through with a home run, and I think that's going to be it right there for Mr. Guzman. I think they're going to close the book on him real quick. So the Hound Dog, Jim Presley, hits the home run. Look at it again. 4-9 is the ballpark blast, and in the Kingdom, that's a field day. Of course, he has normal power. Presley, home run number 13 on the replay. RBI number 41. He had 24 homers real world. And that'll be it for Mr. Guzman. And the Rangers will go to Paul Kilgus. He did pitch in this game real world. So Paul Kilgus will take over, a left-hander out of the bullpen. Paul Kilgus will be coming on to face Alvin Davis. Kilgus will get his, where are you? There he is. So Kilgus on the real season, 2-7 with a 4.13 ERA, was a starter and a reliever. No saves. On the replay, he is 0-0 with a 5.06 ERA. Only 5 innings pitched in the replay so far. He pitched 89 innings real world. And see what he can do here against the lefty Alvin Davis. Lefty on lefty matchup. It is now a 6-5 ball game, courtesy of the Presley homer. 1-9, and that's going to be a solid double for Alvin Davis. Back come the Mariners. That Texas bullpen, no lead is safe. Here comes Kingery. He homered his last time up. That was against a right-hander, though. But he does have a little bit of pop against lefties, so you can't discount that. Kilgus to Kingery. 4-7, and that is a 1-13 double. That's a 1. It is a back-to-back doubles. And that's going to be it for Kilgus. They were bringing him in to face the lefties, and he couldn't get the job done. We are now tied at 6 apiece. So Kilgus didn't get anybody out, gave up 2 hits and at least 1 run, and is responsible for the other run. Guzman's going to go 6+. We'll finish everything out at the end of the inning. And I got to update Morgan's as well. So Kilgus did not last long. He is definitely out of there. And they will go with Dale Mahorsic. Right-hander Mahorsic is going to come on. Again, this is not modern baseball, so you don't have to face 3 batters. You can be a one and done if you so choose. So Mahorsic is in, and he is a -5 hold, so that helps a little bit, -2 overall. Get his numbers on the replay and on the real season, as he's going to come in for Kilgus. So Mahorsic, come on. Mahorsic on the real season, 7-6, 2.99 ERA and 16 saves. On the real season, on the replays, 3-2 with a 5.65 ERA and 4 saves. So he has not pitched well in this replay. Hoping to turn it around right now. Score is now tied 6-6. 6 runs, 13 hits, and 1 error for Texas. 6 runs, 12 hits, and no errors for the Mariners. But the go-ahead runs in scoring position with nobody out and good speed in Mike Kingery. 3-8, and that's going to be a ground ball shortstop B. That'll freeze the runner at second base. So they could not advance the runner. Kingery will stay at second base. 1 away, and that brings up Harold Reynolds. He is 0 for 3. He's definitely overdue for a hit. 4-6, and he gets that hit. Single to right field. The question is, do they try to score the runner? Kingery is a 15, not being held as a 14. I'm sorry, not being held as a 16. Sierra, though, is a -2, is a 14. 1-14, I think you have to send him. And with them throwing home, Reynolds is a 17, will take second on the throw. So Seattle's going to send Kingery, and Texas is obliged to try to throw him out. And again, we have figured Kingery a 15, not being held as a 16, but the -2 is a 14. So 1-14, and he is safe. And he's in there. So Seattle has claimed the lead for the first time, and Reynolds takes second on the throw. That run is charged to Kilgus. He's going to give up both of those runs. He's actually on the hook for the loss now if the score stays this way. So Harold Reynolds coming through, and the Mariners grab a 7-6 lead. And here's John Moses, still only 1 out. Reynolds at second now. That's a 2, so Mahorsic got to be careful. We're looking at a pass ball chance, and Stanley's a 17 pass ball. You know what that means. We got a pass ball, and that's going to put Reynolds at third base, so the infield's going to have to come in. Things are getting sloppy and ugly here in the Kingdom. Infield is in. 5-7, switch hitter batting left. That's a ground ball second base X. That is Brown, 3-16. 3 and a 3. That's bad news. That's assuredly going to be a hit. 3 and a 3 is going to be a single, 1 star. And with the runner at third, all you need is the 1 star. So Reynolds will score on the single by Moses. That is a 9. And let's see here, 9 and I can't remember where it went. I think it went to second base X, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was Brown. So E16 and a 9. There is no 9 there. So it's a single for Moses. Another run for the Mariners. They lead it now 8-6. And Moses, let's see, Mahorsic's a -2 arm, so they'll hold him there. He won't try anything. With 1 out, here's Phil Bradley. He's 3 for 4. All singles. 1-7, and that's a single to center field. There's only 1 out, so it's not a clutch situation. He would have lost a hit in a clutch situation, but a single, he's 4 for 5 now on his hits. Let's see, 17 being held as a 16, -1's a 15. They're going to send him to third base, 15, 1-15, he's in there. And I think Texas is going to throw into the cutoff man and just have him get to third. They want to keep that double play in order. So that single puts runners at the corners. With 1 out for Scott Bradley, they will hold the other Bradley on first base, but he won't try to steal. Texas looking for that double play. 3-7. That's going to be a potential line out to second base. That's a 7. Is exactly what it is. Line out to second for out number 2. Now it's up to Phelps, the 9th man to bat in the inning. It is a clutch situation for Phelps. Seattle looking to blow this game wide open. That's a 3-7 for Phelps, and that is a ballpark blast for Ken Phelps. That's an 8. It's gone. Ken Phelps, a 3-run home run for Ken Phelps. And this game has gotten way out of hand. That's why I wasn't too worried about when Texas had a 5-1 lead. I wasn't worried about Seattle not being able to come back. Phelps, look at it again. 3-7. Ballpark blast. 1-17. That's an 8. So for Phelps, that's home run number 11. RBIs 30, 31, and 32. And the Mariners have batted around. Coming to the plate now is Presley. He led off the inning with a home run. I don't think I've ever had anybody get 2 home runs in 1 inning before. That would be something. 7-run inning for the Mariners. They lead at 11-6. 5-9, and that's a fly to left to mercifully end the inning. 7 spot for Texas, or for Seattle rather. They've put up 10 runs in the last 2 innings, and they are laying waste to the Rangers. Wilkinson back out, and now that gotten this far, let me go to the Strat computer and get the updated totals for these starting pitchers, so I can clean up the line score there. Let's go to the Strat computer. Come on, wrong thing. Come on, give me the stuff I need here. Box score, that's what I want. Guzman, 6 innings, 10 hits, 5 runs, all earned, 4 walks, and 5 strikeouts. For Morgan, 6 2/3, 13 hits, 6 runs, 6 earned, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. So we're up to speed now on everybody's results, but some horrid starting pitching on both sides. And now Texas finds themselves in an 11-6 hole after having a 6-1 lead, or 5-1 lead rather. So here's Mike Stanley. Try to get him going again. 1-6 for Stanley. That's a fly to center, 1 away. 1 away. And that will send up Bouchel. 5-9, and that's a strikeout. So Wilkinson's coming in and stabilized the pitching for sure. 2 down for Jerry Brown. 5-5, switch hitter batting right-handed is another strikeout. So, and maybe this is why Bobby Valentine likes to go incognito in disguise, because he doesn't want to see what's happening, or he don't want anybody to know he's associated with it. We go to the bottom of the seventh rather. I'm sorry, bottom of the 8th now. To move my lines over here. Bottom of the 8th, Alvin Davis will lead things off against Mahorsic. That's a 2-5, and that is a ground ball to short, and that's 1 away. That'll send up Kingery. One 4. That's a ballpark single check. It's only 1-5, so that will be a ground ball back to the mound. So 2 ground outs for Mahorsic. He's off to a much better start this inning than last, but damage has already been done. Here's Ramos, shortstop. That's a 1-12. It's a fly to center to end the inning. So we go to the top of the 9th. Wilkinson looking for the save. Actually, I think he's actually looking for the win, because he got the last out in the 7th before all these runs came across. So I think he's actually in line for the win here. He'll be facing Fletcher, Sierra, and Incaviglia. Get the numbers on Mahorsic before we continue. Close his numbers out. Mahorsic pitched 2 innings, 4 hits, 4 runs, all earned. 16 total hits by the Mariners in this game. No walks, no strikeouts. So they are looking at 11 and 16 for their offensive performance in this one. And now, top of the 9th we go. Last chance for the Rangers. It'll be Fletcher, Sierra, and Incaviglia. Kind of hard of the order here against Wilkinson. 4-11. Fly ball right field X, and that is Kingery. He's a 3-E3. 3-14, he'll get to that. And let's see, he's an E3, and that is a 14. E3, there's a 15, but no 14. So good play for Kingery. 1 away. 1 down for Ruben Sierra. 5-8. Switch hitter batting right-handed is a strikeout. So Wilkinson has been dominant since coming into this game. He has completely shut down the Rangers. And now last chance is Pete Incaviglia. 2-8, and that's going to be a home run on a 1. Anything else will be a double. So Pete Incaviglia does get a 2-out double to keep the game going. And that'll extend it to Pete O'Brien, who did homer his last time up, but that was against Morgan, not against the lefty Wilkinson. The last chance belongs to O'Brien. 5-3, ground ball pitcher B. That's going to end the ball game. Bill Wilkinson, a excellent relief appearance by him, as he's going to go 2 1/3 innings. We'll go ahead and get the totals from the box score. Wrap this puppy up. Despite being down 5-1, Seattle comes back and wins it by the final score of 11-6. 11 runs, 16 hits, and no errors for Seattle. 6 runs, 14 hits, and 1 error for Texas. Losing pitcher is Paul Kilgus. He will go to 0-1. Winning pitcher is Wilkinson. He will improve to 2-1 in relief. He goes 2 1/3, gives up 1 hit, no runs, no walks, and 4 strikeouts. So much deserved win for Bill Wilkinson. Improve his record to 2-1. Lowers his ERA to 3.80. He was a 3.66 real world, so not too bad there. You can give a lot of guys player of the game. I'm not sure who you'd give it to at this point. But, I mean, Bradley went 4 for 4, but there were a lot of other guys that had more potent at-bats. But you can make your own decisions there. So that's going to conclude the June 9th schedule and conclude the live stream on this channel for at least a couple of days. Probably at best, we're looking at Wednesday at best to do anything. But I will record a couple of games this afternoon to upload during the next week sometime. Early on, maybe for one for Monday and one for Tuesday, something like that. One of them a Demolition League game, the other one a payoff pitch game for Steve Carlton. So me, the missus, and Tabby are all heading to a extended stay hotel place that has like a kitchen and everything. So we're going to try to be as comfortable as possible. We'll come back to check on the house on Monday. Kind of don't like leaving the house unattended for over 24 hours in case there's no power, but not much we can do about it because we don't get out of here on Saturday. We're going to be stuck in here because all that ice is going to we're not even going to be able to get out of the driveway. So we got to leave before it hits or right as it's hitting, or else we'll never get out of here. But on Sunday, it's going to be all freezing rain and sleet the whole day. So Monday afternoon is probably the first chance I'm going to have to get back here and check things out. Make sure nothing, no pipes burst or anything like that. And hopefully power didn't go out, but like I said, I'm guessing it's going to be about a 99% probability it will go out. probably for multiple days if we're getting a half-inch ice. So I got a lot of things to do, obviously, to get ready for that between today and I got to do laundry and everything. There's a lot of things that need to get done. But in the meantime, while I'm getting that done, I can also record games on the side while I'm doing other tasks. So get everything all ready to go. So thank you all for being here for this game. Like I said, the next couple games will be on recording. I may pop in and do a quick little, hey, we're at the motel, and a little short that just says where we are. But other than that, definitely no games, though. I'm not going to be able to take any of my recording equipment there. I will have my laptop there so I can play some stuff on, Action PC or whatever on thing. I don't think I'm going to take any cards and dice, though. I don't think I'm going to do any of that. I've got enough stuff to take. I don't need to be worried about that stuff. That's too much to keep up with. So we'll just take the essentials and leave it at that. So that's going to do it from here. Hope you all have a great weekend. Stay safe if you're in the freezing zone. And until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it. And we will see you sometime down the road. Just don't know when.